Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to Witchy Wednesday. Tonight is going to be an interesting night already. I have things moving about my table already. Tonight, I am going to show you one of the rituals. It's not so much a ritual, but something that I do to celebrate Samhain and to honor my ancestors. And I'm going to introduce you to a few. So, I'm going to give you a warning. If you've recently lost someone, this will be uncomfortable and possibly painful. So if you've lost someone recently, this might not be the live for you. This might not be the one that you need to sit in on. All right? And this year, last 2 years, we have lost a lot of people. But this is the time of year we're in. The time of year in which the veil thins. And what does that mean? Well, that means that the spirit world and the world of the living are almost together. We can kind of see each other through a bit of fog, a little bit easier. We're able to feel each other a little bit easier. So, during this time, which is like me, like to honor the dead, like to say thank you to those ancestors that brought us here, that made us strong, that made us who we are today. Hey, Amanda, how are you? This one's going to be tough. This one's going to be tough. And it's going to be tough for me because the people that I'm going to introduce you to tonight made me who I am today. And I'm going to try my best not to cry, even though I'm about to break down right now. So first, let me explain to you what in my path, what is Samhain, Halloween, Dia De Los Meurtos, what are all those for me? All those for me is a recognition that we are about to go into a very long, cold period for the earth. Now, you're in Florida, we don't get cold. But it's a reminder that the earth has changed and that this is the season where things are not blooming, things are dying off, and that change signifies to me like a reminder. Make sure you say hello to the people that brought you here so that way you could be strong enough through the long dead period. All right. Zarabeth, hello, beautiful. I am so glad, Amanda, that you've had a good day. Oh, a witchy store is always fun. A witchy store is always fun, right? Oh, that is awesome. So for me, during these 3 holidays that I named off, they're not one and the same, but they are pieces of what I celebrate. I celebrate Samhain. Once I learned what Samhain was and where it came from, I was like, heck yeah, that resonates. I'll deal with that. Halloween, everybody in America definitely knows Halloween. And so I always enjoyed Halloween. I always enjoyed the dressing up and being something different and being spooky, right? That was me. And I grew up, many might not know this. If you're on my TikTok, if you follow me on my TikTok, I've mentioned it a couple of times, but I grew up in a Mexican family. So even though this wasn't like the super holiday, because let's just be honest, Christmas was, but this wasn't a super holiday for me being a spooky person. This is the one, and I say spooky person, and it's meant in a different way than most people take it. But since I've always connected to the idea of death and honoring death, this, of course, was the holiday that I attached to. I also have always felt in my heart and soul that the dead should be honored. And so this is what I do during this time of year. Oh, good, Amanda. That's a good witchy store then, huh? Zarabeth. Lori, what's up? How are you? I hope your appointment went well. Yeah, Amanda, Day of the Dead. It's one of the holidays that I hold in my heart, and one of the things that I always took away from it was to speak the name and to remember them during that day keeps them alive. And the people that I'm going to introduce you to tonight, man, I would do anything to just talk to them one more time. So, let's show you what I do. First off, I've got a lot of candles lit, and that's typical of what I do. I typically do this on October 31st, and I do this on November 1st. I light all my candles, and I will put out whatever crystals I think I want, and I bring out this box. I found this box at Goodwill a long time ago, and I thought, I need that box, and I didn't know why I needed it. I just needed it. And shortly after I picked it up and started to paint it, I realized why I needed it. And this is my October box. And I decorated the inside of it. It says All Hallows Eve. The thing that you'll see on top, I don't have a picture of this person. And my grandmother gave me this. My grandmother on my mom's side. Growing up, if you grew up in the South, you'll know that like your first steadfast friends are your cousins. And I had a cousin who was like a brother. Okay, we all kind of were really close. And then as you get older, you kind of drift away. You do your own thing. And when I got reacquainted with this cousin, he had already served a couple of tours in Afghanistan, and that changed him. Made him sad. Made him very sad. And one day he just couldn't take the sadness anymore. So I put him in this box to remember him. To remember strength, like true strength. When my grandpa was dying, my grandpa was having a hard time laying down. And so my cousin, Tommy, he sat on the bed like this, right? And they sat my grandpa up against his back. And Tommy stayed there. He stayed there for as long as Grandpa needed him. He stayed there. He wouldn't go to the bathroom. We came in and would give him food. He slept right up against Grandpa's back because that was what Grandpa needed, and that's what made Grandpa comfortable. So that's what he did. So he always taught me strength. So I have his jacket in here that my grandma gave me. That's the first person you're going to meet. People in this box taught me things, and I honor them because they taught me things. Ooh, we're going to take a break. I'm going to take a break because the next couple ones are so much more. That's why I gave you guys a warning. Some of them have been Oh, very cool. You're talking about the shop. Oh no, you're talking about, yeah, being over in Afghanistan definitely changed him. So he's the first person. All right. I'm trying to decide who I'm going to show you next, because the next three are definitely reasons why I am the way I am. I am going to show you, the next four. I'm going to show you my great grand first. I have a picture of my great grand. This woman was spicy. This woman was spicy. This woman I honor because she taught me that I should never accept less than. She had a tough life. She had a rough life. And she was still the heart of the party, dude. One of her, as she was getting late in life, she got a banjo. One of my cousins gave her a banjo. I know, banjo. But she's sitting there and she's in her 90s and she's dancing with the banjo, like playing the banjo. That was this woman. She mowed her own grass until a month before she passed away. A month before she passed away, she was push mowing her own grass. And she had like a half-acre lot. And she'd mow it every other day. She said if she didn't, she wouldn't get her exercise. It was her exercise. So that's my great grand. She also taught me how to cuss. Great grand. She taught me how to cuss. She had a renter that did her dirty, and she had to get insurance to get in, and the insurance company wasn't helping. Oh my goodness, I was 8 years old and never heard those words before. Oh, that was my great grand. She was my best friend. We were both Aquariuses. I was her favorite. Just saying, okay? We would go on vacations with my grandparents, and her and I would get in so much trouble together. So much trouble together. So this is my great grand, and I love her. And I would do anything for her to make her lemon sweet tea for me. Oh no, wait a minute. No, I would rather her cake. Oh, she had this cake that she made, and it was from complete scratch. It was like this chocolate cake. Oh, it's great. All right. This one's a 2-for-1. This one's a 2-for-1. These are all the people that, like I said, made me who I am today. So the first person taught me not to take life so seriously, even though they left my life when I was 12. So I don't have expansive memories of them. I have memories of them picking on me. They thought it was funny. My name is Shalisa, right? And my abuelito used to call me Chorizo. Chorizo. And he's like, Chorizo, come here. Abuelito, that's not my name. I'm not a sausage. That was my abuelito. And my abuelita taught me unconditional love of everyone. I was not biologically theirs. They had other grandchildren besides me. But when I came into their life, I was 2 years old. And I came into their life and I was their baby. I even slept in their bed. I was their baby. So that is my abuelita, my abuelito. Back when they were younger. My sister looks a lot like my abuelita. My sister looks a lot like my abuelita. She's actually got her same middle name. Chorizo. I know, Sarah Beth. I was called Chorizo. And I was also very scared of dogs. And my abuelito would go, pero, and start crying and hide underneath the table. And my abuelita would come up and she'd hit him. And she'd, ay, quit messing with the baby. I was also off the bottle when my mom and my stepdad got married. I would have been off the bottle for a very long time, but my mom and stepdad went to go on a date, and they left me with Wilito and Wilita, and Wilita made Wilito go get me a bottle because I needed a bottle. And so my mom came in. They spoiled me. My Wilito, also I scared him to death. I have a scar in the middle of my forehead from where I had my Wonder Woman underoos on, and I decided to pretend like I could fly, and I jumped off the picnic table and onto the grill that was still really warm because they had used the grill. And so I go to jump back off the grill, and I caught the corner of the picnic table with my forehead, and he just carried me in. According to my mom, he just carried me in, and he was crying. He's like, the baby bleeding. So this is my abuelito and my abuelita. If you guys can't tell, this is part of the ritual. You remember them. You speak their stories. You keep them alive. You feel them. And I keep their pictures up. I obviously had stepdad, and I've spoken before about how my father and I don't get along. So I had other men get into his place and treat me like their daughter and be the father that I needed, right? The person I'm about to show you did that, and always treated me like I was theirs. And no matter what was there, they taught me to be good to your word and love life. That's my uncle. That's me with my uncle. It's my Uncle John. He passed away a couple of years ago of a heart attack. He's pretty young. And it was sudden. And I was in the hospital getting my gallbladder taken out. So I didn't even get to go to his funeral. But my uncle, he was my dad too. He's the one that made sure that if I was going out with a guy, I understood. I understood what could possibly go on and how to protect myself. He was also the life of the party. My family, like on my mama's side and even on my dad's side, they are some partying fools. I'm telling you what. Like my uncle, he taught me how to roller skate. We had a roller rink when I was like 3 years old, and they had little tiny skates for me. And my uncle he'd like dance and skate, and he like, imagine the disco era, right? With the hair that's like a lion's mane and the dance. That was my uncle. He was a disco king. Man, he sounds like your stepdad. Oh, then that means your stepdad was an amazing man. He's an absolute amazing man. Because that was my Uncle John. My Uncle John was an amazing man. I had gotten sick when I was a teenager and then got my heart broken and dropped out of school because my heart was broken. And instead of like making me feel bad for all the decisions I had made, instead he gave me an opportunity to feel like I was contributing. So him and his wife had just had a baby, and so I became their nanny. And I stayed with them and took care of the baby. He could have gone 100 different ways of making me question my decision, right? And he's just like, here's a child. Take care of it. And I did. And that was one of my very first babies. MJ was one of my very first babies, and I still consider him, one of my kiddos. But my uncle was a good man. He's a really good man. Would give anything to anyone, and that was another thing that he taught me, was the kindness, and that kindness is important. And you don't give to people expecting anything in return. You just give because you can. You help because you can. It's not that you are expecting something. You just do because you can. And he was strong and he was kind. And that's what he taught me. He taught me strength, kindness, and to know my boundaries as well. Didn't learn them, but I know them. All right. This next one's going to bother me. Like I said, I had other men step in to that place of being my dad, being my father. And other than my Uncle John, the number one man that took over as the role of father was my papa, my dad's dad, my biological father. His father stepped in. And there are so many stories of my granddad. My papa lived an absolute amazing, big fish life. There's so many stories that were told, and I was like, there's no way those are real. And then, of course, I find out there were actually truths. So it's just crazy. But that is my papa. In his t-shirt and jeans, that's all he wore. He would wear his little white t-shirt, he'd have his jeans, and he'd cuff them at the bottom. He had these black loafers that he would wear. If they were going out to eat, my grandma would make him put on a polo. He'd have to put on a polo shirt over his undershirt, and he'd have to change into his tennis shoes. He couldn't wear his loafers around. He'd have to wear his little black tennis shoes. But there's no other way of explaining. And then his hair, I have his hair. This curly stuff right here, that's my papa's hair. My papa's hair stood straight up like this if he got too long. And he was a practical joker, but he's also full of kindness. He had boundaries, though, and you did not cross his boundaries. When people would tell me about his younger years, oh, he was mean. He was so mean. But to me, he was always just Papa. He was the nicest, kindest man I'd ever known. Supposedly, when I was turning a year old, he walked past a toy store and he saw all these animatronic bears in the front of the toy store. And he walked in, he's like, "How much are the bears?" And the toy store said, "No, they're just display. They're not for sale." And my papa was like, "No, I didn't ask you if they were for sale. I asked how much. I want them for my grandchild." He would spoil me rotten. Rotten. If I wanted something for Christmas, he made sure I got it. My papa spoiled me rotten. But more than that, I learned that I was enough through him. I knew that there was nothing I could do that would ever take my grandpa's love away. My grandpa would always see me as enough. And that made me know that there would be someone to love me and to find me enough. I knew that I would have somebody like my husband come along and that I deserved that because that's what my grandpa gave me. My grandpa gave me the feeling that I was enough. Now, did he let me know I made mistakes? Yes. Absolutely. He let me know I made mistakes. But he did it very gently. Very gently. So as you can see in this ritual, it's just about remembering them. telling their stories and saying their name brings them into the room. My mom used to say, you don't talk about the dead because then they come to you. And I want them to come to me. I want them during this time of year. I want to feel their presence again. I want them to know how much I love them and that, yes, I miss them. And that I hope they see me and they're proud. So even though these are tears, because it hurts to lose somebody, even though these are tears, they're okay tears. They're tears because I was lucky enough to know these people and to love them and have them love me. That makes me a pretty special person. So when you're doing this, if you do this at home, my suggestion is pictures, stories, definitely stories. Tell their stories. To anybody that'll listen, tell their stories. Tell what made you so happy with them in your life. Because then they don't leave. They're always with you. And that's what that means. When people say they'll always be in your heart, yes, they're always going to be in your heart. You're always going to have these wonderful memories. And because I was lucky enough to feel loved by them and to love them, because I was lucky enough, I know that if I make really awesome memories with other people, if I show that kind of love, that one day somebody's going to feel lucky enough to know me and to have loved me. So these are good things, even though they can be sad things. So this year looks very dark. When people look at this holiday and they're like, oh, it is so full of death and evil, you're looking at death all wrong, my friend. It's not that bad. It's just a way this time of year of us saying hello to the ones we love and that we miss. That's it. Instead of looking at it as a final goodbye, it's I'll see you later. I'll see you later. It is a very beautiful holiday. You learned that, Amanda, from your grandpa as well. This is hard to deal with and it's hard to talk about. And I think that's another reason why I like this holiday, is because it allows me to face something that has always scared me. I was always scared of death as a child, very scared of it, like to the point where I'd give myself panic attacks over dying or somebody close to me dying. And then when I started to have people close to me die, there was a part that shuts down. Like when my grandfather passed away, that was the biggest first hit, was my grandpa. And when he passed, I didn't tell anybody at work. Nobody at work knew that he had passed away because I wanted to be able to go to work and still be normal. I didn't want to have to think about it. I didn't. It was rough. It was rough. Yeah. And you know what? It's normal. And I know that it was hard on all my kids. It was hard on all my kids. Seeing my papa pass away, because it wasn't just like that's their great grandfather, right? But he was very active in all of our lives. Very active in all of our lives. Had nicknames for all of us. Now, did we know he was passing? Yeah, we knew it was going to be eventual. It was a long, drawn-out process, but we knew it was going to be eventual. When my oldest daughter was born, he had several, not embolisms, blockages in his arteries, in his neck, and he also had COPD because he smoked from the time he was like 8 years old. until my daughter was born. So he had COPD. He had been exposed to Agent Orange in Vietnam. So there were multiple health concerns. He also had a heart condition. So we knew it was a matter of time. Like, he was on borrowed time from the time my daughter was born. Um, and he lived until she was 9. Until she was 9. So she got 9 years with her grandpa, her great grandpa. The second one got 8. And then the baby got 4. My son got 4. Now, my twins are my stepdaughters, and so they didn't know him as well, but they did know him. So they miss him, but in a different way. But the other 3, it was pretty hard on, and they all process it differently. So that's just the way grief works, right? Yep. You just kind of work through it. And I got mad when people would say, well, time will make it better. And that's absolutely false. Like, good God, that is the worst. Like, to me, that's the worst advice to give somebody, is time's going to make it better. Time will not make it hurt less. Every time you think about it, it's going to hurt the same. Sometimes it's going to hurt more because you've had an accomplishment and you're like, dang, I wish they were there, right? So sometimes it's going to hurt more. There's no way that this hurts less. What happens less is that you don't think of it as much. You don't harvest that pain as often, you know? That's what I found. Oh yeah. That is good. That's tough. That's absolutely their hero. Zarabeth, yeah. I never realized that it was just one of those things. I made it more understandable in a way. It's weird. Like, I still fear it. I absolutely still fear it, but I fear it in a very different way than I did when I was a kid. But I had to see the beauty in it. I had to see, like, all the spooky. I had to make it something that wasn't scary. And I will attribute this, and how I kind of turn scary things around into something beautiful. I will attribute this to my mother. My mother, I was terrified of Thriller. Like, terrified. Okay, guys? Michael Jackson's Thriller terrified me to the point where I would hide behind the sofa, all right, anytime it came on. It was horrible. Just nightmare city, right? And my mom's like, okay, it's fake though. You know it's fake. And I would know that it was fake. I was 5. I'd know that it was fake. But it still freaked me out. And so my mom sat me down and had me, MTV did like the making of Thriller. So you got to see how the prosthetics were being applied, and like she explained how that was artwork. And I'd always been kind of an artsy kid because my mom's an artist. So I was like, oh, okay. So it became beautiful. This stuff became a challenge. It became something to aspire to be able to do, to make things look spooky. It was beautiful. So I kind of changed the like narrative of, not even, that's not the right way. I just changed my perspective of it by making things look pretty. If that makes any sense. Zarabeth, I do too. I love Thriller. I love Vincent Price in Thriller. Like, that's just right. But this time of year is all about remembering those memories. I think it was, my brain is all like blah 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 right now, but I believe it was the Egyptians that said to speak the name makes them immortal. And of course, in the Mexican tradition, it is, making sure that you have their pictures and you making sure that you have their names in a spot for them. Like, never forget their spot in your life. That is keeping them alive. That is keeping them immortal, right? Um, the other thing that I do that is a little weird for some, I don't think it'll be weird for you guys at all, but for some, what is another weird thing is that after I've told their stories and I've sat in their thoughts and I have tried my best to really connect to them and have them feel like I want them here and that I'd like to be able to talk to them again. Once I've set that up and I have really, really feel connected to them, I will pull an oracle card. And I want to know what my message is. What do they want me to know? Are they proud of me? Am I enough? Am I needing to look for something? What do I need to know? So I'm going to invite you to do this with me. You can, I'm going to pull for myself, but when you sit and think about your loved ones, pull your own cards. Pull your own cards and see if you can find something, a message that they'd like to give you. I got refresh. I got mint to refresh. In other words, rest. Rest, my baby. You work too hard all the time. Rest. Pigeon, you deserve a break. It was my papa. My papa would tell me, Pigeon, you deserve a break. I was always mad about that whole pigeon thing too, by the way. I had to be a stupid bird, and my sister got called princess. Where is the justice in that? There is none. I'm a stupid bird. But he said the reason why I got the name Pigeon was because I potty trained really early, like super early, because I had to wear cloth diapers. I was allergic to every single like disposable diaper. So I had to wear cloth diapers. And of course, cloth diapers don't fit close to the leg. And he said when I would poop, it was like a pigeon dewdropping everywhere. It was just going on. So he called me Pigeon Dewdrop. Oh my goodness. Oh. Oh my goodness, Amanda, that's good. What new deck did you get? Speaking of cards, I made my own. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's very cool. What'd you make it out of? Oh, I love that. I love that you made your own cleansing bag. That is really cool. You know, and that's the Labyrinth deck. Oh, is it the movie Labyrinth? Because there's another Labyrinth deck that I saw that was like, it was almost like fairy inspired, but it's not Labyrinth the movie. Which one? Because that's pretty cool. Oh, that's a neat idea. That is a really neat idea, Zerbeth. To make it out of a gator mask. That's a good one. Well, hello, Heather. How are you? Oh, cool, Amanda. It's the movie one. Oh, those were so pretty. I think I saw them in a Books a Million, and they were just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Yes, yes, absolutely gorgeous. Um, I don't know if you have the same set. The ones that I was seeing had like a gold edge all around them. Like they were gold leafed. It was, oh, so pretty. Hey, Stefan, how are you? Oh, well, thank you for subscribing on both. So y'all were just watching me cry my eyes out with this. Oh, you know, like I said before we started, there was going to be sadness to this, right? But it is this memory, it's this, now that I'm at this point where it's not an always constant pain. Now when I bring them close, I cry, but it's a happy thing because as I tell their stories, I can feel them again. Like I can feel them close to me. And it gives me comfort. It gives me comfort. Oh, Amanda. You like the hat, huh, Stefan? That's what the next thing we're about to talk about is that we are going to discuss when we're going to make these hats and what are we going to do next Witchy Wednesday, because I've shared my ritual with you and I'd like to make a craft with you. I was thinking, you guys can tell me if you like this or not, and Stefan, I know you know this. I know you know how to do this. I was thinking of, let's make a wand together. Let's make our own magical tool. We've made a broom now. Let's make a wand. What do you guys think? Oh, this is the only one I've ever made, Stefan. I have never thought to make it to sell it because I don't know. I don't think I'm that great at sewing. So you want to make a wand. Let's do that. All right. So I'm going to tell you, here's your base. Get a chopstick, get a wooden dowel, get a branch out of the yard. All right. If you get a branch out of the yard, preferably one that's already downed. If you have to cut one from the tree, make sure, at least this is how I am on my path. You do you, boo. But if you cut one from the tree, ask permission if they mind that you cut from that particular spot, and then thank them for their contribution. For me, trees and plants have spirit, and it's always nice to be able to ask them to be able to be used and to thank them for being used. So you can use this chopstick. Oh, the wooden chopsticks from like takeout, like the wooden sticks that you get from like a Chinese takeout. That works. Glue, paint, and anything you want to put on it. Any little bauble you want on there, okay? I'm probably going to, let's see. I am probably going to use this broken piece right here. I'm probably going to put that on there. And we will make ourselves a wand with something. And if you don't have anything to put on there, I'll show you how to use hot glue to make it look like it's something. All right? So we will make our own wands. We will clear them and we will charge them next Wednesday. Sounds like a plan. So let's make sure I got it in my book. The other thing is these hats. We wanted to do these hats as an actual Witchy Wednesday. We're at the wand making next week. I'm thinking we can do witchy hats on November 10th. What do y'all think? If I gave you a list, could you do witchy hats on the 10th? Let's see. Stefan, resin, can we get a video on that? Oh, yeah, we can get a video on that. The deal is that I kind of have to wait for it not to be raining outside or 1,000,000 degrees, because in order for you to hear me, I have to not wear my respirator. And I'll have to have my air filter on with my window open so that way I have good ventilation and I'm not going to kill myself with the resin. A resin wand. I actually have some resin daggers that I can make, so we can actually make ritual daggers, and I can show you how to do that. All of the hats. All of the resin projects, all of the things. All right, Heather. Okay, so on the 10th, we're going to make the witchy hats. Okay, that's what I'm putting on there. And then we're going to go ahead and plan that on the... Oh, wait. There is a week that I will be out of pocket. The week of... I do not celebrate this day. We call it Slaughter Day in our house. We do not celebrate Slaughter Day. We do not celebrate Massacre the Indigenous Day. So, but that week, I will not be doing a Witchy Wednesday or a Tarot Tuesday. But we can on November 17th do the wands. Not the wands, sorry, the daggers, the resin daggers. So I'm going to put on the 17th, we're going to do resin daggers. And I will show you how to put elements in those daggers that make them magical and allow you to use them for your own magical purposes. All right. Let's see. Oh gosh, you guys blew up chat. I'm like, oh, where's my eyes? I can't see. Resin witchy hands to hold your broom on the wall. If I can get a hold of some of those things that are needed to make those, I will get it. There is a way to make resin hands. I have done it. It requires some expensive stuff though. Basically there's an alginate, like a dental alginate, that you mix up and you would stick your actual hand inside this alginate. All right. Now, if you want just like regular, like, generic hands, there are molds that you can buy that are like this, that will hold, your broom. But if you wanted your actual hands, there's a way of doing it. It's pretty cool and pretty fast. And you could even see like the little hairs and wrinkles on your hands. It's crazy, but they're really cool. We actually have we have my hand holding stuff in the living room. Oh my goodness. See, that is a great idea, witchy friend. Yes, I agree. Jared said he won't wear a witchy hat. You know what? We'll make it look like, what was it? There was a creator on TikTok, Fire Lotus, I think his name is. He has one, and I guess his father-in-law thought that it looked like a cowboy hat. So we can get Jared one that looks like it's like a witchy cowboy hat. Would that work? Do that for him. Walmart has 5-pound jar of peanut butter. What are we doing with peanut butter? What are we doing with the peanut butter? I'm missing something in chat. Oh, yes. Yes. I've seen that one too, where you take your gloves and you stick moss into the gloves and put them on an L bracket, and then you can put the moss on the outside. Yeah. I also have, see if it's somewhere close to me or no. I have all kinds of things that are kind of like lurking around this room that I am in flux of putting together. I have a round, I'm trying to find it. I don't know where it went. I have a frame, a wire wreath frame that I will be making a crescent moon out of soon. And I could do that with you guys one day too. I could show you how to make a crescent moon wreath, a little wall hanging. So there's that. Let's see. I know, Zarabeth, that was a great idea. This is Jared. I acquired Amanda's phone. Would you be able to make resin hands clasp like in a fasting? If there was a pre-made mold, I could do it. I could also make a mold out, like I said, out of alginate, where like the hands are like this. And I would put my own hands in there though. I can make it look like that. Now there are places, Jared, typically like tourist traps, but there are places that will allow you, they'll do that for you out of like paraffin wax, and they can actually make clasped hands. You and Amanda could go in there and hold hands together, and they can make your hands into like candles. Yeah. I don't get it either, but peanut butter is great protein. um, see, Jared picked up a bag of chocolate Halloween candy. What's the first thing I pick up? My grandpa's favorite. Oh, he approves. He approves. He approves. That's so nice. You need a peanut butter. No, I'm also an advocate of peanut butter, okay? Like I eat something and everybody in my house finds it absolutely disgusting. And when I tell you, you'll probably find it absolutely disgusting and you'll be like, I don't understand how I have watched this woman's stuff and she is absolutely gross. I like peanut butter and syrup. I will mix syrup and peanut butter until I get like this nice ribbony kind of consistency, and then I'll just eat the peanut butter and syrup. uh, Celery and peanut butter. Oh my god, I love celery and peanut butter. That was when I was working from home. I wouldn't stop and eat because I was teaching like 8 classes. So it was from like 7 until 2 o'clock. I was sitting in front of the computer, just like typing and talking to my students. Um, so I wouldn't get up except for to like run to the bathroom and then come back. My husband was also working from home, and so he would just see like a hand come in with a plate of like celery and peanut butter, and he would give it to me. And so that was my snack he would make me. uh Cottage cheese and syrup. What? Amanda. Oh. Oh, see that face I just made us. Oh. Oh, no. Oh. I can't do it. No. Peanut butter and honey. Oh, Autumn. You got this. Peanut butter and honey, dear. That is. My Facebook is blowing up a bit. You know, Lori, you've got candles lit over here too. Always. Always. The different jams, peanut butter, and other nut butters make one strip of 3 flavors of each piece of bread, one horizontal, one vertical. Then each bite of the sandwich is a different. That is genius. That is genius. Huh. Any local Florida haunting locations? Well, unfortunately, all the ones what we know from just experience and from working haunts and from going to haunts, once you get about the middle of October, when you start going to haunted houses later here in Florida, later than the middle of October, what you get is a lot of like drunken idiots and a lot of people that shouldn't be going to haunted attractions, and then it just gets too crowded, and you've got people that love haunts, but then you have people that are just doing it because, ooh, the spooky season, and they're wanting to get scared, and they're not good scare candidates. Like, if you know your reaction is, and you go and hit somebody, maybe you shouldn't go. Just saying, right? If you know that when you get scared, you get angry, maybe you shouldn't go. It's no fun for anyone when you get angry. So yeah, that's what happens here in Florida. Is like late in the season, we just get drunken idiots and people that shouldn't be in haunted houses. So we stay home. Now, that being said, there will be some more updates about our yard, because we have a 12-foot skeleton in the yard. We have a 10-foot pumpkin sentinel. We will have a wendigo in the yard, and we've got 15 feet of spider webs. So we will be passing out candy in our yard dressed in character. So Serafina will be making an appearance on TikTok very shortly. uh, oh my goodness. So, Stefan, here's the thing about me. I'm a scaredy cat when it comes to like real spooky locations. I get to be a scaredy cat, and I don't want to go. There's certain places where I just don't feel good. Like there, it's not good energy for me. Um, St. Augustine is a little mix, and we are thinking about one of these days going on a ghost tour in St. Augustine, which would be kind of fun. I've gone on St. Augustine ghost tours before, and they're not so scary. At least meaning that the spirits that are there aren't mean. They're kind of lighthearted and funny. Like they pinch ankles. Funny. There are plenty of ghost tours. There is a tour that we'd like to take one day. We went to the cemetery, but we haven't gone. They have them on full moons. They do like an actual tour of this cemetery. There's a big one in Orlando, and it's not as big as Savannah's Bonaventure, but it is a pretty big cemetery, and it's beautiful. They do midnight full moon tours, and I'd love to go one day. We found a church that's giving Asha candy this year. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I know that there's one near the school that I work at that's doing like a trunk or treat, and that was a northern thing for the longest time, and now all of a sudden the southern states are getting into the trunk or treats. The Devil's Tramping Ground. Where is that? Well, we do plan on going back up to North Carolina, so I will let you know when that happens, because DuPont was beautiful. I'd like to go back to DuPont. Oh, that's cool. Trunk or treat. That's cool. My sister sent me a message. My sister's Catholic, and my sister was like, the church that she goes to is doing a trunk or treat, and that um she's doing her trunk. She's going to be, decorating her trunk, and her theme was an old witch's house. And so she sent me a text, and she's like, I need to transport your house into my trunk, please. It's like, I love you. I love you. I'm not old. uh, Stefan, I would love to be there. I will definitely look that place up. So it's called the Devil's Tramping Ground. Okay. I'll get my husband to go look it up. See how close we'll be to it. We're not I can't read that. I have no clue what you said, Amanda. It looks like, I'm gonna say, from my eyes being so weird, it looks like we're not button my. And I'm like, that's not the right word. I know it's not. Oh. All right. Oh, more. Y'all need to find your way to New England. We have some spooky up this way. Oh, okay. So Zarabeth, there is a haunted attraction that we want to go see in. I want to say New Hampshire, and I'm pretty sure I'm wrong, but I'd have to ask my husband because he's like an encyclopedia with this stuff. Haunted Overload. There's a place up there, and we desperately want to get to Haunted Overload. We thought we were going to be able to do the trip this year. Like, we had planned, we had saved up money. I had saved up days so that way I could take off days of work. I had saved up days, and the Delta variant decided to rear its ugly head, and we were like, to be safe, we probably shouldn't go this year. So we hope to go next year. And when we go next year, we would like to stop at Sleepy Hollow. There's a whole thing that we want to do, and a lot of it is stop at famous authors because I do teach English and I love literature, so that would be good and witchy. What do you think it's possible to create a spiritual tool to filter negative energy and put out positive or neutral energy? Absolutely, Stefan. That is an absolute thing. I want to go to Salem, Massachusetts so much. I know, Amanda. Me too. Jared, what I want is a festival type thing for Samhain. Yes! But all I can find are private things. Maybe I'll start looking into groups. I would love for a big Samhain celebration. That would be great. No, Zarabeth, absolutely. I've been told many, many times, do not go to Salem during October, that the best time to go is actually November or December. That's what I've been told, at least. But Stefan, to answer your question, there is an absolute way of doing that. I'll have to make that another Witchy Wednesday, but you can do that with pretty much anything. I have a couple of, they're not necessarily dream catchers, but they are webs, and the webs are made to catch the negativity. And then I have certain elements on those webs that filter it and send out positive energy. So yeah, I actually have something that does that. So that would be, could it be considered a totem? I am going to be honest, I don't know how totems work a whole lot. It's not something that I've ever worked with. Like I said, because of upbringing, I'm more familiar with web working and creating things that are very, very similar to dream catchers. But they are not dream catchers. Here, let me see. I can just grab this one off the wall. It's not a dream catcher. It is not a dream catcher. But you can see what I'm talking about. So as you can see, like there's the web that catches the negativity, right? I have dried rosemary on here that cleanses it. And then the feather is just for, how do I explain the feather? Flight, to feel uplifted. Like that's what I use feathers for. It's like a free spirit, flight, freedom, to feel like yourself, to put more positive energy. Like in here is my art creation room. In here is my TikTok and YouTube room, right? So in here, I wanted to feel like my dreams were being uplifted, that any negative thoughts I had would get caught, purified, and I would feel uplifted. So that's what this is. So I do have something like that, but I don't call it a totem. I just call it my webs, my web workings, if that makes any sense. Uh-huh. And I had a spell going on right over there, and it's working very well. So, all right, my lovelies. I need to go and wash my face, go to bed. Tomorrow is another work day. But it's almost Friday. It's almost Halloween. So, my lovelies, be happy and safe this weekend. If you are giving out candy to trick-or-treaters, smile and tell them their costumes are amazing and that they were spooky and they scared you. It makes little ones' hearts swell. And we need them to like Halloween. Okay? All right, my lovelies. Thank you for sharing this with me tonight. Thank you for allowing me the luxury and the privilege to share with you people that meant so much to me. And thank you for listening to their stories and allowing them to come a little bit closer tonight. I appreciate all of you. So, my lovelies, until next Tuesday when we do Tarot Tuesday, be happy and be safe. Bye.